What's going on, everyone? My name is Oscar Hongos, and in this video, let's talk about why I think that the Canon 5D Mark II is the most important camera of 2021, and why I think most people should be buying this camera. I'm going to be giving you a few reasons why I personally like it and why I think you should be purchasing it. So let's just jump into it. Number one, you're unemployed. Number two, the price. And of course, price dictates a lot of what we're gonna buy. For $600, $700 for a low shutter count 5D Mark II, you're gonna be very satisfied because of the colors. It's built like a tank. If it's good enough for professionals like photo Olympians, journalists that are out there, the biggest YouTubers on the planet, then it's good enough for you. Number three, the 5D Mark II and Mark I colors have always stood out to me. It's just that beautiful, and I hate to use this word, film-like look. I'm gonna put up a few pictures out that I've been taking with the 5D Mark II, and I'm never disappointed. The grain looks absolutely amazing. I don't know what Canon did between the 5D Mark II and the Mark III, but I'm always satisfied. It looks absolutely stunning, and I just wish that they would do something like this with their newer sensors. Image processing is a personal preference. I know that Nikon does an absolutely beautiful job when it comes to their grain. Sony, if you know you want to shoot excellent video, there's nobody that can beat Sony at the moment, especially with mirrorless. They are so ahead of everything. But the 5D Mark II, the colors, I just cannot get over them. Number four, and hear me out, lack of features. The 5D Mark II does not have 4K, IS, face recognition, but to me, I think that if you get a camera that does absolutely everything, it is a way to stifle your own creativity. For example, for me, because there is no autofocus during recording, I had to find a creative way to get myself in focus. And because there's also no help when I'm getting details, I had to understand the minimal focusing distance to a better extent, just the overall process of making a better photo or video. And this sort of follows up with the Canon 5D Mark II has a limit of like 12 to 15 minutes during recording. This helped me personally because now I have to know that every single script that I write is within 10 minutes. Condensing the information is a very important thing, especially when it comes to tech reviews. That helped me improve my writing and my scripts and really plan out my videos to a much better extent. So the 5D Mark II clearly does not have 4K, and that's another reason I purchased it. I knew that every single computer that I used was going to be able to manage the 1080p footage. It was going to look amazing as long as I understood the fundamentals. This also meant that I didn't have to understand a whole new workflow. I didn't have the excuse of needing to buy a new computer. I need to buy more hard drives because I have like 5 hours of 4K footage that takes up an entire hard drive. So to me, it was a way to save money in the long term as well. I know that we want to buy a lot of products. Eventually, you hit the law of diminishing return where you're just spending too much money, you're not getting the same return. If I bought a newer and more expensive camera, then I feel like I was just hitting that point. So moving on, and I think this is more for me. Full frame is really important. I will be a snob and say that ever since I transitioned from a crop sensor to full frame, I can't really go back, especially if it is like a paid job and I want the best results possible. And I like to print my photos from time to time. Like full frame is so important to me, especially as someone that can tell the difference between a crop sensor and a full frame when it comes to using glass, right? Like you can really tell the difference in the depth of field when you're going from crop to full frame. And in the hierarchy of things, it goes, lenses and then the camera body, because the camera body, it doesn't retain its value as much. Consider it when you're buying the body. Do you want to spend that extra $1,000 just for one feature? Or would you rather spend that $1,000 and buy two nice pieces of glass? This next point I think is important about the history of the 5D Mark II. At this point when it was released, a lot of people didn't think that a DSLR could do the same as a $10,000 RE or a $10,000 Sony. But when it was released, it just completely changed the game. At $3,600, this was the camera to get. When you looked at YouTube, Mike Bloomberg, directors, MKBHD, everybody was using this camera because of its stunning results, how you were able to pair it with beautiful glass. It was just incredible to see that this was a choice for everybody. This last point sort of mingles with one of my previous points, which I think that it is important to give yourself creative struggle to bring yourself to a better understanding of the filmmaking or photographic process. Yes, I know we all tell ourselves the moment that I get X camera or X computer or X piece of gear, it will make me more creative. But the creativity really comes from inside our heads. You know, like hitting the gym, it's important to work out a certain muscle. You know, push yourself, put an extra 5 pounds here, put an extra 20 pounds there, because at the end, they're just tools and we get to decide what makes it creative. For me, I personally know that I'm going to keep the 5D Mark II for a long time. I like the process of learning new things, having the limitations. The colors are amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Do I wish that it had IS sometimes or 4K to say that I have 4K? Yeah, but it doesn't really push me creatively. I think that I just want to be able to understand the fundamental process to a better extent. I don't want to rely on the fancy color grading or the fancy zoom transitions all the time, because that to me just feels cheap and just kind of boring. So let me know what your thoughts are. What camera will you be getting for 2021, or accessory for your camera? I'm definitely going to be doing a review on a very old lens, so make sure to like and subscribe. But at the end of the day, I thank you so much for your time and your attention. My name is Hongos, and I'll catch you in the next one.